Good afternoon, I am William Theo and this is PTV News Now. Kicking off the work week and tops on our news leaderboard at this hour, massive clearing drives and rehabilitation work on roadways and bridges have been ongoing over the last several weeks in preparation for the Days of the Dead celebration this weekend to ensure commuter safety and motorist smooth travel. So declares a DPWH statement released today, claiming the agency would also field and deploy composite teams to key and strategic locations across the country on Halloween from 8 a.m. to 5 in the afternoon of All Souls Day or November 2nd this Saturday under the Lakbay Alalay program. The DPWH Lakbay Alalay teams are composed of uniformed field and crew people who will be working round-the-clock shifts and will receive assistance from the LTO, the police, and the local government units. In other news, people respond or react more to bad news. It's proven. Just the same, voters react to darkest fears, even if false and fake, than hope and promise that's palpably real. And so with barely a week left to decision day, USA GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump earlier today launched his darkest ever stump speech in the most famous sports arena in a city that never sleeps. Trump and his lineup of front act speakers zeroed in on an apocalyptic message on how illegal immigrants have destroyed America. The same message he banked on in 2016 that won him the presidency, but far darker and more dreadful. One speaker, a comedian, mocked how blacks used to carve watermelons way before pumpkins and referred to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage. This meeting, the Avance presidential campaign, which packed Madison Square Garden, also featured its share of sexist and misogynistic fare, with renowned wrestler Hulk Hogan echoing a malicious comment on Vice President Kamala Harris. At this point, there is no clear leader between the Trump and Harris campaigns in the 7 battleground states, although many pundits and political observants admit Trump is surging while Harris struggles to win independents and the undecided, despite banking on celebrities endorsing her.
Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've done a terrible job. That crooked Joe Biden has done a terrible job. You've destroyed our country. We're not going to take it anymore. Kamala, you're fired. Get out. Get out.
In his rounds Sunday of TV media outlets, Trump VP running mate and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance pushed back on claims by Trump's longest-running chief of staff, a former 4-star Marine general and ex-Joint Chief of Staff chairman, and 4-star General Mark Milley, of Trump being fascist by his actions and record in office. Vance called them disgruntled employees, as we hear more from VOA's Veronica Valderas Iglesias.
John Kelly served as White House Chief of Staff for former President Donald Trump from 2017 to 2019. In a recent interview with the New York Times, the retired 4-star Marine general was asked if Trump was a fascist and replied, quoting here, "He's certainly an authoritarian, admires people who are dictators. He has said that. So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist, for sure." Trump reacted to the accusations on his Truth social media platform, writing, among other things, "John Kelly is a lowlife and a bad general whose advice in the White House I no longer sought, and told him to move on." On Sunday, Republican Vice Presidential nominee J.D. Vance commented on remarks by Kelly and former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, that Trump is a fascist.
People who worked most closely with him, most of them are supporting this ticket. Mark Milley and John Kelly are both disgruntled former employees.
13 former Trump aides, however, released an open letter on Friday backing John Kelly's remarks and warning the Republican presidential nominee is, quote, unfit to serve. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham strongly disagrees.
I was around him. I don't think he's a fascist. I thought he was a very strong president at a time we needed a strong president. I think he will be a strong president to get this country back on track.
Targeting battleground voters, the Democratic presidential campaign of Vice President Kamala Harris has been running an ad with audio of John Kelly's remarks. Harris herself hasn't shied away from voicing similar concerns.
Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable. And in a second term, people like John Kelly would not be there to be the guardrails against his propensities and his actions.
Independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who supports Harris's bid for the White House, was asked Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press whether he believes Trump is a fascist.
I don't like using those words, but clearly he has a strong tendency to authoritarianism and to undermining American democracy.
The controversy comes as both presidential nominees prepare to wrap up their campaigns. Trump campaigns in battleground states later in the week after a Sunday rally at New York's Madison Square Garden. Harris is also scheduled to visit all swing states in the coming days. She will deliver a, quote, closing argument to voters near the Washington National Mall on Tuesday. Veronica Valderas Iglesias, VOA News.
And that's a wrap for this afternoon's breaking stories. Join us anew later on for the evening's offering of Newsbreakers. Till then, this is William Theo reminding you to stay connected by keeping it here. And thank you for watching PTV News Now.